Welcome to the St. Louis County Planning Commission virtual public hearing. This meeting is for the purpose of hearing presentations on petitions for rezoning or requests for special procedure permits. I'm Wayne Hilsinger, Chairman of the Commission. In addition to the other members of the Planning Commission, I would like to introduce Jacob Trimble, Acting Director of Planning, and the planners assigned to tonight's petition. The commission will not make a decision on petitions heard this evening. Normally, the commission will receive staff reports and make a decision on tonight's petition at an executive meeting in February. Additional comments, letters, and petitions submitted to the Department of Planning within 2 weeks of this meeting will be distributed to the planning commissioners in their executive meeting agenda packet. If additional information is required, the decision may be delayed. The Planning Commission's recommendations will then be forwarded to the County Council, who has the responsibility for the final decision. The meeting will observe the following guidelines. Planning Department staff will show photos of the petition site, then the petitioner will present the request. They will be allotted 15 minutes. Then persons in favor, in opposition, or with concern will be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. Please note you may only speak once. To indicate you wish to speak, click the raise hand icon to the right of your name on the participant list. Please keep your remarks brief and avoid repetitive or seconding presentations. After all opposition speakers have spoken, only the petitioner will be allowed a 5-minute rebuttal to answer questions and points raised by other speakers. The commission may ask questions of any speaker. Tomorrow, all attendees who provided an email address to attend the meeting will be sent a poll. Please indicate on the poll if you are in favor, opposition, or have concerns regarding tonight's petitions. This is not a vote and is not binding on the commission or the county council. The purpose is to make the crowd count part of the record for each petition. And with that, we'll hear tonight's first petition, which is PC 36-21 Moto Inc.
Good evening. PC 36-21 Moto Inc. is a request for a change in zoning from M1, FPM1, and FPM3 to M3 and FPM3 for a 2.94 acre tract of land on the southeast quadrant of Interstate 255 and Koch Road. As you can see from the county context map, this site is in South County. It is just before you cross the Jefferson Barracks Bridge into Illinois. And there you can see the site outlined in red. From the land use map, you can see that there is vacant and wooded land surrounding the site, including a quarry to the south, as well as single-family residences developed in the R4 residence district to the west, and the Veterans Medical Center to the north of the site across Interstate 255. Here's a second aerial where you can see some of the wooded area, the single-family residences, and the development to the north. This is looking north on the site up Koch Road where you can see 255. This is looking west. The site is at my back across Koch Road. This is looking south down Koch Road. This is an aerial shot above the site looking north at I-255. Here we are facing east, looking into the site. You can also see the public hearing sign. This is also looking east. You can see the 2 advertising signs that are adjacent to the site. Here we are again looking above the site east. And this is from within the site looking above, facing west. And next is the petitioner's presentation.
Okay, petitioner. There they are.
Okay, Mark, I've made you the presenter, so you should be able to share your screen now.
Appreciate it, Mel. You share the screen? Yeah, can you see that now?
I don't see it. Yeah, you might have to click the share button in WebEx first, and then whatever application you're using.
There we go.
Okay, it's coming up.
Great, thank you, Mel. Appreciate it. Good evening. I'm Mark Dorian, president of Dorian Engineering. To my right is Gordon Forsythe. Gordon is the director of real estate development for Motomai. And also Brian Pendleton is joining us via the virtual meeting process this evening. For this project, we submitted a similar plan for rezoning in September of 2020, but did not receive council approval. We have taken what we have learned from that process, public comments, St. Louis County Planning Department's comments, St. Louis County Planning Commissioner's comments, and other people's comments, and we have created what we believe is a better plan. We absolutely believe in this site and feel it will be a positive improvement for the South County area. We have put much effort into tonight's presentation, and we'd appreciate your consideration on our revised petition. On January 5th of this year, we had a virtual meeting of the neighborhood, and that area is shown in blue up there. We contacted 140 residents. The closest resident was 1,700 feet away, and the furthest was a half a mile away, and their access to the site would be via Sunrise Heights down Kingswood Lane to our parcel. In attendance that night, there were 3 neighbors, 4 representatives of Motomart, and 2 representatives of St. Louis County Planning Department, as well as Councilman Tracus. Area and site information. Here's an aerial. Our subject tract is in the bottom right, or the southeast quadrant of 55 and Coke Road. Jefferson Barracks Cemetery is located here, non-urban zoning. John Kerry Early Middle Childhood Center, which ages 3 to 5 students, is right there. Just to the north of the John Kerry Early Childhood Center is the Beasley Elementary School, which has grades K through 5. The Veterans Hospital, Coke's Hospital, we refer to it as, is located there. It has a non-urban zoning. However, it is a federal government property, and they have not actually gone through the formal zoning process in St. Louis County. Located here is the Missouri Driver Testing Facility. Bus and Quarry is to the south, and that's a planned industrial as well as the non-urban zoning. We have single family R4 to our southwest. And in this little triangle here, there's Gateway Accessible Housing, which is an apartment complex for those who need accessibility concerns in their housing. Our project is zoned industrial. Our project, again, is zoned industrial, and the permitted uses that go with that M1 zoning are listed here. Anybody can pull a plan without having a public hearing and utilize any of the following list of different uses. There are more uses that are listed in St. Louis County, but this is just a partial list. Laundry facilities, manufacturing facilities, marijuana facilities, offices and office buildings, public utilities, recycling center, research laboratories, facilities, sales and rental of equipment used by business, self-storage facilities, telecommunication towers up to 200 feet in height, terminals for trucks, buses, railroad, and watercraft, and yards for storage of contractors' equipment, materials, and supplies are all allowed as it is currently zoned. Historic photographs of the site. This is a Google Earth from 1992, which shows the old fuel storage tanks that were on the site. This was the time when Wayne, this is actually after the time when Wayne used to ride his bike across the bridge.
I did ride my bike across that bridge.
I've heard that story, but I don't know if I believe it. In
It's when you have not,
1998
when you're 13, you have nothing else to do.
and you're indispensable too.
Yeah, exactly.
In 1998, the Google Earth shows that the tanks were actually removed, but you can still see where the tanks were on the site. And a Google Earth 2020 shows the site like it is here today. Now, the part where development is this area here, and it's a very low-lying area, and it's extremely low beneath the interstate and the bluff. And the bluff is located in this area here up against the Mississippi River. Our elevation when we're done is going to be about 430 at the finished floor of our buildings. The elevation up here at the interstate is 42 feet higher. It is way above us. The elevation on the bluff is 470 feet, 40 feet higher than us too. And it also has trees and mature woodlands in the area. So with all this information here, when you approach from the Illinois site, you simply cannot see our site. And we will even demonstrate that to you further in this presentation. Current site area photograph, again, our tract is 11.9 acres and it's located in the area shown there. We're only asking for the front 2.9 acres to be rezoned. This petition has nothing to do with the rear 8 acres. And the reason we're requesting that is we're requesting zoning in this area only to ensure no large truck operations will occur with this petition. That is something that we heard with our original petition that was a concern to these residents and counties, and thus we have removed that portion from the petition. There's a small little area of floodplain close to the site here from the Matigny Creek. There's some existing asphalt pavement still on the site. There's a billboard located near the bridge on our site. There's a billboard located midway through our site. There's actually a billboard about 1,000 feet to our northwest from this site on the interstate. Some site photographs. Our entrance looking to the north. Our entrance looking directly across the street. Our entrance looking to the left or to the south towards Bussing Quarry. Here's our from Kingswood Lane looking directly to our entrance. Again, the billboard signs are located on the site, and our entrance will remain in the same location as shown in this photograph. This is standing at our front property looking back to our site. This is moving back into our site about 150 feet from that front entrance. And this is about 150 feet back from the entrance looking back towards Coke Road. We have an approved traffic study on this site already. We had discussions with MoDOT, and because of the safety discussions, the proposed entrance will be located directly opposite Kingswood Lane as discussed. There is plenty of additional capacity for traffic at the Coke Road interchange, much more than is required by this petition. Previous submittal. Previous submittal is as shown. To the left is Coke Road. Above is Interstate 255. And to the right of Coke Road was our entrance. Then we had a canopy. Then we had an 8,100 square foot C center. And then we had a large truck fueling area behind that. So the limits of the previous petition were back to that red line. In this petition, we have deleted the truck fueling area. So we're not proposing that at all. We have totally taken that off the board. The limits of this petition actually is moved up 270 feet from the old petition. So we've substantially reduced the site footprint. The original petition had about 5 acres of disturbed area. This petition has about 3 acres of disturbed area, which is a reduction of about, well, it's 40% less than the original petition. Also, the original petition called for 8,100 square feet C-store. Our current petition calls for 5,400 square foot C-store, which is 33% smaller than the original petition. Our proposed site plan, again, total site is 10.9 acres, and I said 11.9 earlier, and that was incorrect. It's actually 10.9 acres. And again, this petition only is about the front 2.9 acres. And again, I'll reemphasize it. Request and rezoning in this area only to ensure no large truck operations will occur with this petition. This is not our intent. We will not have large truck operations. Again, the bluff is back here, and we've got some mature tree mass in this area, and there are many other trees scattered throughout the site. The 2 highway billboards that are on our site are located there. And this drawing here is a section through our site. It's as if you're looking at our site from the south. On the left is where Coke Road is at. Look at the bottom drawing here. And then as you go to the right, there's a proposed canopy, and then there's a proposed C-store and some level area behind there. And then we go into a steep grade there, about 20 foot of grade differential, maybe actually 30. And then we hit a flat plateau, and then we go up another 10 feet from that to a bluff where there's trees at, and then we abruptly go down to the Mississippi River floodplain. And again, that's the bluff that blocks the view of the proposed construction from the Illinois approach. This here is just a line of sight. If you were to draw a line from the proposed C-store to the top of those trees, you can see how high you'd have to be even to begin to see our proposed development. Again, we have a large entrance onto Kingswood Lane. We have a right turn out. We have a straight onto Kingswood and a left turn from Kingswood, and as well as a 1-lane directional coming in. Very safe design. We're now proposing a 5,400 square foot C-store in this location. Our canopy will be here. New to this petition is we're proposing a car wash in this area, which we think will be a big hit with the local residences. We'll also have a food pickup window. Very convenient for the residents in the areas again. And the menu board will be placed back here to allow sufficient stacking. And we have a total of 8 vehicle stackings for this drive-through use, which is 3 more than is required by county ordinance. The trash enclosure will be set back into the side of the hill almost, so it will not be visible from the interstate. Of course, our site ain't visible from the interstate, but it also is going to be very invisible as you travel along Coke Road. We have 35 parking spaces in this area for the convenience store use. And we have 5 vehicle stacking spaces here for the car wash as required by St. Louis County ordinances. And we also have 5 vacuums and parking spaces in this area. Again, there's an existing billboard halfway through our site, and we are requesting a pole sign in this location here, and the exact size and location to be submitted separately. Again, we have a pole sign, and that pole sign is about 500 feet from, there's a billboard sign about 500 feet from our pole sign to the right on the drawing. Then there's another billboard that doesn't show up our drawing here. That's 1,100 feet to the right. And there's also the other billboard that's 1,400 feet from our proposed location of the billboard that sits to the west of this property. The existing billboards are 48 feet long and 14 feet high. They're about 672 square foot per face. Martigny Creek actually crosses under Coke Road through a box culvert in this area. The limits of the 100-year floodplain from the backwater of the Mississippi are shown there. That 100-year elevation is 420. Our C-store is at an elevation of 430, so we are 10 feet above the 100-year flood event. Proposed storm sewers are in this area here, and we have water quality and stormwater detention as required by the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. Existing sanitary sewer connection will be made in this area. A landscaping plan will be designed by a registered architect working directly with the planning staff. We want to get this right, and we want to take some time to do it right. So we're going to make every effort to get a plan landscape in that it makes sense and looks beautified and will beautify this site. We will have landscapings at a minimum around the whole parcel as well as on the islands, these areas here. There are 2 billboards on our site as discussed, and they will have to have access after our store is here. So to do so, access to the billboard will follow these blue arrows, and the billboard in the middle would be accessed simply going that direction. The billboard at the rear of the site would actually go out this way here and up this existing asphalt road that is actually on the right of way, but they have an easement to use to maintain that sign up there. Pictures of our building, which we're quite proud of. That's the new Moto Mart. We love it. We put a lot of time into this. We've traveled the country to find different uses, different styles, and we've taken what we think is the best from a lot of different places to make a first-class C-store here in South County. Here's another picture of it. When you enter the door, you're going to see something like this. Very nice. Coffee, here you go, guys, right here. Sodas, other drinks, whatever you want, and very clean bathrooms. So got everything that you want and my wife wants at this Moto Mart. So this project will provide to South County a first-class location for gas, food, small supplies, and car washes. Provide options to residents for shopping, gas, and cleaning their cars. Beautify an existing abandoned storage tank facility, and that it will do. It will create good quality jobs for our area. It will reduce traffic on Telegraph Road, which ultimately will improve safety on the Telegraph interchange by providing convenient location for area residents for gas, car wash, food without going on the Telegraph. Neighbors in the area can come down Kingswood Lane and get to our site without going on Telegraph Road. Also, there are a number of individuals that would like to gas up before going to Illinois, and they will no longer need to exit at Telegraph Road. They can come down to the Coke Road interchange, which has only 1/20th of the traffic of the Telegraph Road, and pull off on our station, gas up, and safely return to the highway on their trip to Illinois. Also, there are serious increased tax revenues for South County and the Millville school districts. Even before the store opens, it has to pay what's known as a traffic generation fee, which is a tax to St. Louis County, and that fee or tax is in six figures. It's a significant amount of money just to open their doors. Then they'll have real estate taxes, gasoline taxes, all kinds of taxes that will go back to the county. And this commercial will add to the small commercial base Millville School District presently has. Millville School District only has approximately 1/3 the commercial base that Lindbergh School does. Lindbergh School has about 2/3. I'm going to say it all again. About 1/3 of Millville school tax comes from commercial uses, while 2/3 of Lindbergh School's taxes come from commercial uses. I am a Millville resident, and yes, we have high school tax rates down here. And the reason is because we simply do not have the tax base that the Lindbergh School District does. If deemed desirable by the St. Louis County Police Department, we will provide a police substation. This will have policemen there more often and will add to the security in the area. And I can speak from experience here in South County. We are, on my own personal building here, we're experiencing thefts from cars, the catalytic converters, and people are stealing these things while we're in our office in the middle of the day. And so more police in this area can only be a plus. It'll provide light and security to a property that is deserted and unmonitored. It'll utilize a property that was identified by St. Louis County as underutilized 22 years ago. And it'll provide a desired neighborhood use instead of the currently allowed industrial uses. Again, right now, many industrial uses are approved on the site, and if someone deemed to do one of those sites, they don't even have to go to public hearing to do so. So on our previous petition on August 31st, the county staff made a report to the Planning Commission, and they recommended denial. And we want to look at these recommendations for denial. The first one we'll call letter A. Use is not appropriate along Coke Road at this interchange. Telegraph Road to the west has been planned and developed as a high-intensity, auto-oriented commercial corridor in this area. Our response to that is we really believe that Coke Road interchange is a commercial interchange right now. This is suggesting that Telegraph is a commercial interchange and that Coke Road is not. If you look at the drawing, Veterans Hospital, again, zone non-urban, sits in that red area of 128 acres. Again, the federal government does not recognize local zoning ordinances for their properties. St. Louis County ordinance allows a hospital in non-urban zonings only with a conditional use permit. Hospitals in St. Louis County are normally C8 planned commercial use. I say that Veterans Hospital is located at the bottom right here. The closest hospital is Mercy Hospital South, formerly St. Anthony's, and that's zone C8 planned commercial. Then there's St. Clair Hospital, the new hospital out in Fenton, and that is zone C8 also planned commercial. Hospitals are a commercial use in St. Louis County. On the same subject, on the Telegraph Road, we absolutely agree that for over 50 years, St. Louis County has used Telegraph Corridor for development. Another large subdivision at Telegraph and Fine Road has recently been approved by St. Louis County. The result of this high-intensity, auto-oriented commercial corridor is that the interchange at 255 and Telegraph can no longer handle the volume of traffic. The result is that the interchange is not safe. And this is exactly why MoDOT provides secondary interchanges such as Coke Road. The proposed C8 store would remove traffic from Telegraph and place some of that traffic on the Coke Road interchange. Staying with the same first comment, staff indicated that night that they suggested an Overlook office building would be acceptable to this site. Office buildings are zoned industrial as well as commercial, but are really considered to be a commercial use in an industrial district, especially for an Overlook office. The office building parking requirements are found in the commercial parking requirement matrix in the St. Louis County ordinance. There are no parking requirements listed in the industrial parking matrix of the St. Louis County ordinance. Again, an office is both industrial and commercial, but is a very commercial use. This would mean that the interchange for Coke would also handle commercial traffic. Staying with item number 1, the proposed store we believe is an appropriate use for the Coke Road interchange. If the 18th largest veteran hospital in the United States with 355 beds is an acceptable use for this interchange, then we believe a 5,400 square foot C-store would also be acceptable. Item number 2, reason for denial. It is inconsistent with the 6 County Council District Community Area Study. Plan recommends institutional, recreational, or MF, and of course MF doesn't mean we don't like residential, it means multifamily residential. The 6 County Council District Community Area Study was developed in the year 2000, 22 years ago. The study states the goal of the study includes redeveloping vacant lots or underutilized industrial and commercial sites. So 22 years ago, St. Louis County said, hey, we have a problem here. We would like these underused properties developed. So let's get a plan. And again, in that study, it said, the study recognized this site as underutilized in that year 2000. Again, a study is a recommendation for land use and planning. It is not an exact science. Modifications to the plan may be needed as time goes by. After 22 years, none of the recommended uses have happened to our site. We believe that a C-store at the corner of the interchange is a reasonable use. We also believe that if the 2000 study was actually updated to 2022, that it would recommend the same. Staying on the same subject. It went on to say recommendations for this area, and there were 4 cited by the Planning Department report. Promote port and river access uses. Well, the terrain of the site, as previously shown, simply doesn't allow for port or river access uses. It's up against the bluffs. There's no way of accessing the river. The only small level area is the railroad that goes through down below. The second item was provide an appropriate transition between any new uses and existing residential uses along the western boundary of the sub area. Well, our parcel is actually on the eastern boundary, but a C-store is an appropriate transitional zoning starting from the corner of an interstate interchange and then transitioning to, quote, any new uses and existing residential uses, period. There are examples of this all over St. Louis County. Staying with item number 2. The third part of it said the sub area's location overlooking the river and its direct access to an interstate highway make the site suitable for an office or institutional uses, provided there be an adequate transition to residential areas to the west. The area in the petition is not the sub area's location overlooking the river. Again, our development is down in the hole. The location and direct access to the interstate is what makes this site reasonable for a C-store. And once again, an office is a commercial use. And finally, on the second point, the fourth item that they listed was active or passive recreational uses could also take advantage of the topography and river overlook location. Our proposal is not for the river overlook location. We're down in the hole. That area is in the rear of the site against the river. At this point, again, we're developing the low area. We are providing for access to the overlook area, and this still could happen sometime in the future. Item number 3, the use is not aesthetically or visually appealing at the scenic gateway to the county along the Mississippi River. Again, we showed you this previously. Our site's at 430 elevation. The interstate's 42 feet above us. The bluff's 40 feet above us with trees. And we stated that you can't see it from the Illinois side. Well, here's a picture from the Illinois side. I'm almost a mile away from the bridge itself, 3/4 mile. And you can see this billboard closest to Illinois, but our site is down well below that billboard height, and you simply can't see us. Moving forward, much of the same. You don't see anything but the top of the billboard. Our proposed construction area will not be visual from there. As you go over the bridge more, the exact same thing. When you get to the end of the bridge, you still will not be able to see our site. When you get here, you still won't see our site, but we are requesting a pole sign in this area, which will be much smaller than the billboard signs, to say Motomart and have our gas prices. And that is the only thing that you will see when you drive in from Illinois. The concrete median blocks your view, as well as the drop-off is so large there that you can't see our site. And this one here is at the end of our site. If you turn around here, you still can't see our site, but you would be able to see our pole sign that says Motomart and our gas prices. Staying with the same item, this site has not been aesthetically or visually appealing for over 60 years, and this is actually our chance to fix it. We're very proud of our site plan and our building, and we think they're very attractive. You simply cannot see the development when entering the county from Illinois. In fact, you can only see part of this development for a very short period of time when you're heading the other direction. And I would encourage all of you to take a drive by and see for yourself. We are proposing a first-class, beautiful site. And if this plan is turned down, maybe another plan will come around in the next 22 years. But more likely, with the information that we have, we think someone will purchase this, and instead of going through the zoning process, we'll use it for one of the industrial uses that we previously mentioned. Item number 4 under the denial, proposed uses are not permitted by right in the M1 industrial district. Filling stations and restaurants are conditional in the M1, where a convenience store is a commercial use. Besides the previous arguments, we also say that filling stations and restaurants of 22 years ago are today's C stores. We believe by today's standards that this is an acceptable use. In summary, the project will provide a quality option for gas, food, car wash in the South County. Beautify an eyesore of an abandoned storage tank site that has sat there for probably as many years as I have been here. Create good quality jobs, lessen the burden, and improve safety at the Telegraph interchange. Increase tax revenues, provide added security in this area. It'll prevent industrial development in the proposed zoning area. A C-store is a support use for nearby institutional, industrial, commercial, and residential uses. It has been 22 years since this District 6 study was completed. It was a good study, and it still is, but time has moved on, and we need to amend some of the uses so these grounds actually get utilized. We believe this is an excellent, high-quality proposal for South County. We believe most residents of South County, we believe most residents in South County believe this is a good project. And we appreciate your time and consideration, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Mel, you want to take it from here?
I think we would do commission questions and then public comment.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Commissioners, any questions?
How many jobs is this going, this Bill Ballard, how many jobs you say this would create, Mr. Dorn?
I'm going to let Gordon answer that question.
I would say stores of this size and these uses, depending on the kitchen and the food that we provide, we probably have a full staff of not working at one time, but probably hire close to 30 people, including a manager, 2 assistant managers, probably 4 shift leaders, and then typical associates. And then the car wash would also have, it's gonna be a tunnel car wash, so that'll have probably another 4 to 6 employees.
Okay, and the operation is a 7-day, 24-hour?
7 days, 24 hours.
Okay, and is the employee parking part of that parking space you're talking about?
Yes, so typically we have the employees park in the east side of that site behind the store.
Mhm.
And of course, maybe a couple maybe to the north side, but obviously we'd like to keep the primo spots for the customers.
Okay, and just for information, you said you're gonna have 2 billboards, I believe, 1 pole sign. Is that it?
So the billboards are already on the property and have been there for quite some time. We are going to have, obviously it's a separate process, but of course we need, because of lack of visibility, we're going to need signage for motorists to see and know that we're there. But as far as new structures are concerned, it would just be our sign. The billboards are already there.
So I guess that's gonna be closer to the bridge so that the people come from Illinois can see it before they get there, miss the turnoff point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're proposing currently. Obviously, we have to also work with the billboard companies to make sure, we don't block the billboard. So the exact location could change a bit, but that's where we're proposing it at this point.
Let me clarify that. The billboard is actually on near the Coke Road interchange. It's probably 2,000, probably about 1,600 feet from the bridge. When you come over from Illinois, you'll first see the billboard that's right at the edge of our property at the end of the bridge. Then there's another billboard in the middle of our site. And then after that, our pole sign would be there. So we're probably 1,500 feet from the bridge itself.
And while not on our property, there is a third billboard to the west.
Okay, and you said you had 35 parking spaces, 30 employees. How many of those employees are gonna be working, let's say, first shift or second shift? I'm just trying to see.
So typically, let me think. So we usually have during the day a manager on staff, an assistant manager, probably 4 associates, including a shift leader, maybe 2 to 3 people working the kitchen, and then 1 or 2 people at the car wash. So, maybe around 10 at a time. I could, that would be a guesstimate, but a reasonable one.
Okay, and did I also understand that you said that did you meet with the people down that area?
Yes, we had a Skype meeting with them last Wednesday night, and 3 people tuned in from the area. Yes.
You said 3 people?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. And what was their response to?
Yeah, again, that was 3 out of the 140 notices that we sent out. Probably not fair for me to say how they responded, but it was a very positive meeting. I think we answered a lot of the questions. Like I said, I don't want to really talk for those people, but it was not a negative meeting at all.
Okay, so there's no one there representing any group of people or blocks or whatever?
There was no one at that meeting representing the groups. I know one of the people that was in that, one of the persons that was at that meeting is tuned in this evening, so you may hear from him himself.
Okay. I had another question, but it flipped my mind, so that's okay. I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else, commissioners?
This is Bill Sneed. I think this is certainly a much scaled down version of what we looked at before. And I think we're all pretty familiar with the area and a great job of presenting it here. So I don't have any questions.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Anyone else? Anything to add? Seeing none, we'll let Mel take it from here. She's got the list of anybody who would want to speak.
So we'll now move into the public comment portion for this request. If you would like to speak, you can click the raise hand button next to your name on the participant list. It may also be in the bottom right-hand corner of the WebEx app. If you don't see it, you can send a chat to me, the generic host, asking to speak. We will start with Dave Long. Dave, you can unmute yourself to give your comments.
Hello, my name's Dave Long, and I live in the neighborhood that was actually displayed earlier on the map there that was circled as the section that were mailed to for this or for the previous meeting that we did. As I expressed during that meeting, I'm not necessarily one who is interested in seeing this occur. I've talked to a number of my neighbors whom I haven't found a single one who has indicated that they were excited about this. If anything, my neighbors that I've talked to, none of them feel that this is a necessary facility. And to kind of give some quick points on that, like there was a mention of the commercialization, utilization of that area from the VA hospital. There's very minimal traffic that occurs except for during kind of the time when they go to work and leave work for that area. It's not something that would be all day long and all night long with a 24/7 gas station. I looked at the size of this facility compared to, say, the Circle K that is off of Telegraph or the ZX that is off of Telegraph. This is more than double the size of those two locations. So it's significantly bigger. While I do believe it would draw some usage, I don't know that it's going to alleviate that much traffic from Telegraph to actually substantially change the dynamic on Telegraph. And if anything, it will just increase an area that residents use quite frequently to get on and off the highway. And so it's going to just increase that traffic more than anything. And as far as, other possible uses for this location, an office to me would not necessarily have, I guess, the same negative view from my house. I can see this location from my house during the wintertime when the leaves are gone from the trees. And so looking out my front door, I would see a whole bunch of lights down there now if this was developed. A bed and breakfast or like a restaurant, that's maybe not in use 24/7. I could see that being a more reasonable use for this location. I did some research on, kind of the crime, and there was an article written in 2007 about robbery of convenience stores, and it determined that 6% of all robberies known to the police occur at convenience stores. With this location being right next to the border for Illinois, I could see this being a great location for people to try and drive off and steal gas, potentially. Now, maybe they're going to require credit card use, so that might eliminate that. But it's an easy access point to take off into Illinois to try and get away after a robbery. So then you increase the risk of accidents from people running away from the robbery or something like that. There's no other businesses that would be open at nighttime in this area. Everything around there would be dark, except for that one location. And then on top of that, you have the potential to draw increased persons with alcohol, maybe increased drug use. We already have homeless in this area, and this is all going to be right near an elementary school. So I'm concerned about that. And then, there's a couple of articles that I found about the diminished property values that occur. And one article says 10 industries that diminish property values the most. Gas stations is one of them. Cemeteries, highways, and gas stations. Here's what decreases your property value. I own the house that I live in here on Bertrand Drive, and I don't want to see my property value be diminished. So I'm very concerned about the potential for increased crime, increased traffic, as well as the problem with the view from my house. Right now I can see the bridge. I can see those signs. I do see the lights from those billboards. The last thing I want to see is a whole lot more light coming from down the street, because I live at the top of the hill. And, so a 24/7, location is also a concern to me, so that's pretty much, the main things that I wanted to mention. There's also I also have kind of a concern of what's the potential environmental impact on health for the people who are in the disabled community that aren't going to be too far from there. There's an article I found from the Community and Environmental Defense Services. They referenced the science of the Total Environment Volume 650 Part 2 study. And that study found that gas stations found benzene emissions from underground gasoline storage tank vents were sufficiently high to constitute a health concern at a distance up to 524 feet. Not sure how far away that is, but it's not too far from there. The last thing I'd like to say is I'm also concerned, what are the potentials for problems from the blasting that takes place at the quarry? I know that our house has cracks in it that have gotten worse over time with the explosions, for the blasting. What's the likelihood of having a rupture that's going to cause gasoline to leak? Is that being considered for this? So that's really all I have at this point. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's anyone else who would like to make a comment, please click the raise hand button next to your name. You can also send in comments via email to planning@stlouiscountymo.gov. At this time, though, I don't see any other hands raised for this request, Mr. Hilsinger.
Okay. Mark, you have any rebuttal? You want to say anything?
Yes, sir, we do. And Dave Long was at the meeting the other day, and I'm glad I didn't speak for him because I can remember all those things. But anyway, the traffic patterns, a slide I omitted due to the time schedule is the traffic that goes to the school and the Koch Hospital. They actually exit the interstate at the ramp to the north of Kinswood Lane on this drawing here, which is not shown. And then they head to the north. They don't even interact with vehicles entering or leaving our site. Okay. The pictures I took out there, as well as the St. Louis County officers that were out there taking pictures before, showed 2, maybe 3 vehicles in all those pictures. And I promise you, I wasn't taking my pictures when there was no vehicles around. Let me give you an example. The peak traffic on Telegraph Road, there's 2,400 vehicles per hour crossing the south edge of the bridge. That's 1 vehicle every second and a half. And that's per the MoDOT website. I have that slide. I didn't put it in also because of time. Coke Road, the peak time between 4 and 5 p.m. at night is 118 cars per hour. That's 20 times less than the traffic on Telegraph Road. And that equates to about 1 car every 30 seconds. Not a whole lot of traffic down here. Okay. It's a very safe area. No, we never said that this petition would solve all of the Telegraph problems due to traffic at the interchange, but it will reduce them. And it's one site in the whole South County area. And whenever we get a chance to make the South County area safer, and the people that drive that Telegraph interchange every day can tell you it is not a safe interchange, we need to take that chance. Property value. We're 1,700 feet away from the nearest residence. Okay, we're going to build a first-class C-store. Very nice. I'm going to tell you right now, I live in Merrimack Bottom in 55, right across from the Quick Trip over there. We love Quick Trip, and my Motomart client's standing next to me. Okay, the convenience that it brings to us. Okay, we need something, thing of milk, whatever, ice. We just run over there. People sometimes don't like these C-stores when they're being proposed, but once they're there, those same people are at these C-stores all the time. As to property values, if somebody comes in after us, and I believe it's the seller now has indicated a very much willingness and wanting to sell this property. If this petition goes down, okay, he's going to get tired of doing petitions, having this property tied up for years for a rezoning for St. Louis County that is not going to rezone the parcel. And he's going to sell that to one of those M1 uses that we showed before. Okay, those M1 uses will reduce all those people's property values in this area significantly more than any nice C-store would ever do. There's a discussion about fumes, and I didn't follow all of it, being susceptible to certain things for up to 524 feet away from the site. There's no buildings or properties that were within 524 feet of our site. So with that, I think I said enough, and if anybody has any other questions, I'd be happy to try to address them. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Anyone questions for Mark? Seeing none, we thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
This concludes this hearing, and we'll go on to PC 01 and 02-22, Flower and Findler Inc.
Abby, are you going to put the presentation back up? Okay.
Yeah, I'm presenting to you PC 01 and 02-22 Flower and Findler, which is a request for a change in zoning from R1 and NU to R1A with a PEU for a 9.5 acre tract located on the north side of Hawkins Road, approximately 277 feet west of Bowles Avenue. You can see from the county context map, this site is in far South County, just along the county line with Jefferson County. And on the aerial, the site is highlighted in red, and you can see the surrounding context of the site, which you can see a little bit more detail on the land use map. We'll go to the next slide, Abby. So single family residential is the primary use around the site. This site is just north of the Jefferson County line. As you can see, currently existing on the site is 3 single-family uses, parcels, and a church. And then this aerial is just zoomed in a little bit. You can see the site outlined in red. You can see the existing structures, the single-family structures in the church structure. This view is looking north from Hawkins Road into the site. You can see the public hearing sign. And this view is a little bit further west along Hawkins Road, still looking north into the site. This view is if you stay put and just turn looking west along Hawkins Road. And then this view would be looking southwest across Hawkins Road. That parcel is still within St. Louis County. This view would be looking north into the site along the western edge of the site. In this view, moving a little bit north into the site, continuing to look north along the northwestern boundary line. And then this view would be turning around and looking southwest back towards Hawkins, which is just on the other side of that structure. This view would be looking east into the site. And then this view is looking from approximately the same position, looking northeast into the site. This view is towards the northern edge of the site, looking towards the boundary line. And then this view would be looking northeast. And then this view is looking east towards the boundary line, the eastern boundary. And this view is looking northwest into the site. At the top of the crest of that hill is the existing drive into the site. And then this view would be looking south back towards Hawkins Road. And then this view is, again, looking north into the site from Hawkins Road. And then this view is looking east along Hawkins. And then looking west along Hawkins near the eastern boundary of the site. And then this view is looking south along Golda Lane. And then this view is approximately where the existing church structure is, looking southeast along Hawkins Road. You can see some of the existing improvements, the existing sidewalk there. And the petitioner has a presentation at this time.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Okay, Sean, I'm making you the presenter. So you'll need to click the share button in WebEx and then whatever application you're using for the presentation.
Does it work?
Yeah, it's coming up now.
Does it show up there now?
Yeah, if you just go into full screen or presentation mode, we can see it.
Does that work now? I can't really see what I'm looking at on yours.
That's fine. This view is fine.
I think it shows up at least.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll go through this fairly quickly. So just an intro page, but overall, we're asking to go to an R1A with a PU layout with 18 lots. Just supplementing a little bit of the overall, just locating it. You got 270, 44, 141, and 44, Highway 141, 30. So this is right down at the Jeff County, St. Louis County border again, roughly, in the Fenton area. I did an aerial shot of this, just again, it kind of complements it, but you can see on the church property, they've got the church structure with the parking lot, but then this building is on the same piece and it's not subdivided into different parcels right now. So you've got kind of an issue there on existing with how that's laid out. It's a little just an older deal. They've got another parcel in the back and then the two other houses that come down on Hawkins Road on that side. Just again, more pictures of it. This would show up in there, but looking back, the rear side of the church and the building, and this kind of shows the rear sides of the two houses that would be included and the front of the house to the back. So you guys would probably remember it's been about 1.5 years, 2 years, but we were up here at Bowles Crossing down in Fenton, which was prior before you and approved, which was done with an R1A PU with similar lot sizes and a similar setup to this. There's a creek that runs between that subdivision and ours, or the new proposed one, but this shows what it ended up being. This shows the existing NU zoning on top. And then this shows one of the spots is R1, the other two or the other three are NU. And again, the primary thing with NU as far as we're concerned is once you bring utilities to the site is really what allows you to kind of start getting out of that holding pattern and figure out if there's another appropriate use. This shows the overall layout, 18 lots. It's a fairly simple layout. You got the subdivision street coming in, common ground. Importantly, we try and do this on ours is have a buffer area around the site to the extent possible. So again, Bowles Crossing is here, but there's also, as to the neighbor on this side, There's buffering of trees. We're trying to keep as much of that as possible in the common ground. And then even on this side where you would say, well, this is changing because right now there's a building almost right here on this side. So it'll be, even though it doesn't have necessarily a tree showing or something there, you're going to have a net improvement as far as distance from structure to structure on this side. This is more of an outbuilding. It's not a residential structure. So that would be where lot 8 would back up. But over here we have common ground and detention next to our neighbor. So we'd be able to kind of buffer that again, and the same down here. So we're trying to fit this thing in to be as, try and work with everybody as much as we can. This just gives you a summary. So again, it's R1, it's a mix of R1 and NU right now. And we're proposing to just make it all R1A with a PU overlay. It's 18 lots on 9.5 acres. It comes out just under 2 to the acre, 1.9, with about a 14,530 square foot lot average. 2.86 acres, and the same lot size that we have over there at Hawkins or over at Bulls Crossing. So it's a 74-foot wide front, 8-foot sides. So the houses are all at a minimum 16 feet apart, and then the standard front and rears. We did, anybody that was contiguous to the site prior to this meeting, once the notice went up, we also mailed them a letter with my information on it, how to contact me, as well as a copy of the site plan. So they had a chance to actually just get a physical copy in their hands. So I haven't had any, I've had conversations with people on site around there, but not necessarily in response to the letter, but we at least tried to kind of get that out there. Subdivision pricing, I anticipate that, to be the 3 different types of homes, but based on what I've seen in that area, I think you'll see anywhere from 550 to the 8s, probably in that price range. And then I just was noting again, there's 4 residential structures in the church. All of them are on septic systems or wells. So there will be an improvement in that area, and that you'll take several of these small systems that are kind of older offline, and you would be able to bring water and sewer to that site on a main system. And we have talked with all of the different, we've done at least initial conversations. In the stormwater, in particular on the next line, that area has some slope and undulation to it. So our hope is that we might actually, with proper detention over there, be able to improve some of the downstream flow, just because you don't have there's really no storm up there at all. I am making the kind of the comparison. This is very similar to the neighbor over there at Bulls Crossing. Again, that was kind of our hope, was to blend the zoning. So I just want to give you guys a comparison. At the neighboring subdivision, we were all NU when we converted this. This has some R1. It's the exact same type of overlay and zoning, or that R1A. I mistyped that, but it should be R1A. Slightly smaller on the acreage, slightly less lots, similar ratio on the lots per acre, common ground a little less, but the rest of these factors all kind of come out the same. So we tried to stay within the bounds of what's been done over there. One additional thing I wanted to point out on the frontage, we are starting to put these on where we try and give a little bit of a look for what we think might make sense on an entry monument. And then on the front for landscaping on Hawkins in particular, there's a dashed line over here that shows we have to keep this open for sight distance. So we had talked about doing on this one was maybe we're proposing to do lighter landscaping, but this grandma grass, which is what we used we had approved over on Bulls, but to keep like a lower lying nice area there, a little more trees there, but not to over landscape one side and not be able to do the other one because it might not match up. And then save some of the landscaping for down here where you get toward the detention, a little bit on the side, and then we're trying to retain in the common ground down here some trees and tree cover. Again, the buffer area as much as we can. Let's see if this actually works. So I just put this in as a video of kind of what the houses in a similar subdivision we have look like. This is similar styles. We do a lot of ranches. I bought the drone, so I feel like I have to use it. So this won't go on super long, but again, it gives you an idea. It's a lot of 3 cars, front entry, gives you some sense of the spacing. When you get onto those cul-de-sacs, it spaces out quite a bit further. And then this is a kind of a look of sample look and feel of houses that we do that would fit on those style of homes. And that's the end of mine.
Okay, appreciate that. Commissioners, questions? Anyone? No questions?
Oh,
All right, well, guess we'll go to public comments then. Mel, you want to take it?
Sure. So if you would like to make a comment or ask a question about this petition, please click the raise hand button that is either next to your name on the participant list. It could also be in the bottom right-hand corner, or you can send a chat to me. I'm the host, and I can unmute you. We will start with Vic Labanchnik. Vic, you should be able to unmute yourself now to make your comments. Vic? I see he's unmuted. Can you hear us, Vic? Let me try this again. He may have just fallen on. If anyone else also would like to speak, please click the raise hand button next to your name. Vic, go ahead and unmute yourself. Oops. I'm not hearing him, and I can't unmute him myself. I don't see any other hands at this time. Oh, here we go. Vic, I see you're unmuted, but I'm still not hearing you. If you want to type your comment or question into the chat, I could read it out to the commission. We'll go to Laura Wenz. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing. Laura, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my comment is just that, I think that this is a great development for the area. I'm speaking on behalf of one of the homeowners, but there are several things. There's a housing shortage still, and I think the general look of this will up the neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods and the values. So I would be in support of it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm still not hearing Vic. And I don't see any other hands at this time. Excuse me, we'll go to Mr. Weber, Gary Weber. You should be able to unmute yourself to give your comments.
Hear me?
Yes.
Full disclosure, I am one of the homeowners that would be part of that proposal. I think it is going to be an improvement to the area. Some substantial homes built by a good builder. My neighbor, I don't want to speak for him, but he has told me my parcel is on the eastern edge, which will be common ground after the house is removed, and he will be able to look up over a park-like area. So I think he's in favor of it, as are most of the people I talked to in the area.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other hands. Mr. Labanchnik, if you could submit maybe your comment via email, or we might have some some comments from you, which we will make sure are included with the staff report when it goes to the commission.
Okay,
But I
so
don't see any
we
other
have no one
hands.
else?
Correct.
Okay, we have no need for rebuttal. Unless any commissioners have any questions? Or Mr. Findler, you have anything you want to add? Okay, seeing none, this concludes this hearing. And this is our last petition. We need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
We have a
second.
second? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it 5-0, and we are adjourned till when we meet
January
again?
24th.
January 24th.
And that will probably be a 4 p.m. meeting, but you'll get an email and a call from Evelyn. So,
Okay,
and thank you all for your patience with getting on, and we'll try to make sure that a panelist password is not needed next meeting.
all right. Good night to everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
one.